Hi everybody, I've got an update for you, kind of an angry update. Uh, I things have been going pretty well. Been working on my civil cases, plugging away on those, working on stuff in anticipation of my criminal cases, which I thought I had continued. Back in December, I wrote a motion for continuance to have it postponed. Had my lawyer asked him to submit it, check it over and submit it. He did. That was back in, and then back early on the 9th of December, I had a text exchange with him. Any dates, any news, anything. About whether this is getting postponed or not. And the reason I wanted it postponed is because the DA is still not sharing evidence, despite a court order, which I had to arrange to compel him to share evidence, but he's still not doing that. Not sharing evidence in either cases. Only one has a court order attached to it. Also, their witness, one of the witnesses, which I want at either of the cases that is likely to go to trial next, is scheduled that way. I want this officer as a witness in both cases, but she's gone out for 12 weeks with shoulder surgery. So that I want at least 12 weeks. And also it's winter, and travel's kind of an issue for me in the wintertime because I have to walk part of the way to the court, about a mile and a bit. One way to court and back. So if it's below zero, that's challenging. So I asked for a continuance since the DA was asking for a continuance since this officer was out in one of the cases. They wanted to proceed with the other case. I said no, I want to witness in both cases. Put in a continuance, put in a motion to have this officer named as a material witness in both cases. Asked my lawyer back on the 9th, about any of that. He hadn't heard anything, and I said, well, okay, just as long as we have the hearing, to get discovery up to date and get all the evidence from the DA's office before the trial, and I just want to know, obviously keep me posted about the trial. Was in town today, and I was submitting some civil paperwork. Having to do with the lawsuit against my malpractice lawsuit against my attorney, a local suit. I'm also still working on the federal 1983 case against two deputies and Waldo County deputies. And so anyway, I submitted something related to the malpractice case at Waldo County Court today, and just happened to ask, any word on criminal cases. And the clerk looked it up and said, oh yeah. You're scheduled for a jury selection, which means basically the start of the trial process, because trial can happen anytime after that, on the 3rd of February, in about 2 weeks. Surprise, surprise. She didn't say that, obviously, so the surprise. But I mean, yeah, that was a bit of a surprise. I have not heard a peep out of my lawyer since, for 2 months or more, whatever it's been. Maybe the court didn't notify him. I don't know. They certainly didn't notify me until I asked specifically this morning. And yeah, so then on top of all that, and the reason I'm kind of especially angry about all that is because then I go catch my ride home. I mentioned this to my ride home, the person who is kind enough to give me a ride home, and I don't want to bite the hand that feeds me. There. But I had to listen to a lecture the whole way home about how I just need to stay away from the cops. You got to stay away from the cops after this all settles out. Yeah, I probably will. It's kind of, but I might, probably I'm still going to want to protest on it. Definitely going to be suing them. Well, yeah, but even if you sue them, you're not hurting the cops anyway. They're just going to keep coming at you. It's the city, the government. They can do whatever they want to you. And no, I'm going to keep suing him, definitely. And, and this one cop I'm suing, I saw him not long ago, and he, believe me, he kind of fled when I brought up the law. It is going to, hopefully help, control him. And if nothing else, I can get some settlements out of it. Oh yeah, but even if you get a settlement, you're not going to get that out of the cops. Cops not paying for it. They don't care. Well, yeah, like I mentioned though, that cop was just, that I saw him and I mentioned the lawsuit and he literally like fled. And man, he wasn't scared. He knows what he's doing. Just like completely give up. And I hear this a lot from people I are in my real life. In fact, it's universally, pretty much the universal message from everybody that I interact with in real life is give up. Stop this fight against the cops. You will lose. You're losing. No matter what happens, just give up. And no wonder this country is where we're at right now. With that kind of attitude, eventually, I said, well, I'm sorry, I kept saying, I'm not saying other people should do this. I'm not advocating this. This is just me. I'm willing to take this risk. I'm doing it, maybe it doesn't pay off, and plus a lot of it's already, I might as well fight because the damage is already done. Now it's, as far as lawsuits goes, it's me seeking justice, finally. It's just like, and it was just like, who thinks like that? I guess a lot of Americans think like that. It's messed up. Like, just give up. Just roll up. So I said, yeah, well, maybe if, a few more people stood up, because I eventually came down to, well, the government can do whatever, you're just going to lose. The government can do whatever they want to you. And I said, well, maybe if more people stood up, it wouldn't be like this. They wouldn't be able to get away with anything they want. And that just kind of, not really a response, but. And then it ended amicably. I wasn't like, I didn't want to argue, but I got to tell you, it pissed me off. I need to hear that. Plus, who thinks like that with their fucking brain? That I need to hear that, I appreciate the rights if the person who I'm talking about sees this, but Jesus fucking Christ, use your fucking brain sometime. I mean, 99% of the time you do, but that was fucking stupid. You ought to know better. Jesus. And the rest of you, keep fucking fighting! Keep fighting. Fuck them all. Fuck ICE. Fuck the police. Fuck Trump. Fuck the authoritarians. Fuck the fascists. Fuck the warmongers. Fuck the Epstein class. Fuck the billionaires. Fuck them all! And keep fighting and don't ever fucking stop. That's my message to you. Peace.